Welcome, officially, to Sabina. I don't want to lose you. The door creaks open. Mishka turned his head just enough to glimpse a dark figure sliding into the room and keeping to the wall. Even though it was painful to do so, Mishka propped himself up onto his elbows, and used the momentum to sit up. I have hair in my mouth. He winced. The figure pushed off the wall and stepped closer, their pale golden gaze. He is gay. Their pale golden gaze staring down at Mishka, expression calm. I'm really struggling here. Okay, Mishka narrowed his eyes and propped his arm onto his knee to rest. How generous of you to come visit. Where's your owner, Ada? There are leash laws in the city, you know. He compelled us. Mishka sneered and wiped his mouth with the back of his hand, smearing old bloodstains there.
That's enough.
I've come to ask you about Pavel's research. What makes you think that I'd say anything, even if I did know? Yeah. Pavel is working on a new drug. What do you know of it? Nothing. I've been in here this whole time. How am I supposed to know what the hell you're talking about? This would have been a drug he's been working on for a while. So what is it? I'm not telling you, either way. Is Pavel working on a drug without addictive properties? Mishka grinned and turned his head away with a dramatic shrug of his shoulders. And what good would that do? We all pump drugs into the city so we can fight over who owns it. Mishka deserves better, like you. No, Mishka deserves better than you, which is me. Again, I'm the one for Mishka and the one for Dima. Every character is in love with me. Yeah. You can have the not safe for work versions of them. I'll take the versions of them in this game. You can have the other versions of them. I got you. Would it making something without the risk of addiction be bad for business? Mishka maintained his cheeky sneer. Dima would be out of business if that were the case. Ada narrowed his gaze, fingers biting into the metal fencing of the cell. Why do you continue to protect people who clearly do not care about you? Mishka scowled toward Ada and, with a bit of effort, stood up. I could ask you the same thing. Shaking his head, Mishka stepped closer to the cell barrier. You are the strongest, most skilled assassin I've ever had the displeasure of meeting. So why do you protect someone so... It's my job. I got dressed up solely to go on a date with Dima. Well, because I didn't have a date with Mishka. I had a date with Dima. Are you shaming me? For liking two men? You should be surprised. You should be grateful that I like men at all. Mind your business. They're both mine, thank you. He has you under his thumb.
I love him.
You're gay. You're gay. Talking about somebody love him. Mishka stared at the man in front of him, finding that the more he stared, the faster and harder his heart began to race. Anger swept over his entire body.
That's not love.
Oh.
You give your everything to him. And for what?
Snarling, Mishka pressed close to the barrier and kicked it, slamming his foot into the hard metal over and over again. You give, and you give, and you give, and he just takes it all. And he doesn't give it back. He doesn't even look at you the way you look at him. Are you two gonna say the same thing to me? The same thing about me? Ada stepped back and let his arms drift to his sides. His expression remained deadpan while he watched Mishka's tantrum. You can't be without him, and it terrifies you to lose him. You can't see yourself without him, because there is no you without him. I want to say stop projecting, because he is projecting. right? Mishka needs to take his own advice. He's projecting, but at the same time, I still don't think he's wrong about Ada, though. So, like, he's definitely saying the truth to Ada, but he's also saying it about himself. That is not love. Mishka's knees felt weak, his body heavy. With a choked sob, he found himself sliding down the barrier. His head hung low and pressed against the metal. That isn't love. You're just afraid to leave him. Yeah, leave. It's not love. The door slammed shut. Alone once again, Mishka brought his legs close to his chest, curling up on the cold concrete. How do we fix this, Sasha? Well, we don't. We don't fix this. I'm in a relationship with another man. It's really serious. He's wrong. What does he know? He cannot begin to understand me. Mishka is pathetic. He knows nothing. Ada stepped into the dimly lit room he knew so intimately. There was not an ounce of unfamiliarity in this room. Mishka. No, Mishka will not be going to you. Mishka belongs to me. There was not an ounce of unfamiliarity in this room. Everything was exactly as it had always been. The thought was a soothing one. Ada stepped across the dark carpet and approached Roman from behind. Roman sat at a big vanity surrounded by luminous lights that framed the mirror. In one hand, he clutched a compact, and in the other, he patted at the scar across his face with a cotton pad, taking great care to cover every inch. He said nothing at first, only continued to drag the pad against the concealer before dabbing the bridge of his nose. Ada watched him, content with that alone. His gaze shifted toward his own reflection, noting the smallest hint of a smile on his face. Where's the hint of a smile on your incredibly downturned mouth? There's no smile there. That is also not a smile. That is not love. He tore his gaze away, his hands clasped behind his back. His smile disappeared as quickly as it came. There never was a smile, so. Roman peered over in the direction of Ada's reflection, observing his averted gaze. Yeah, this man is scary, because he knows things. Did you visit Mishka? His tone was flat and almost uninterested. The inquiry did nothing to divert his attention on the task at hand, and painting his face was of the utmost importance. Ada nodded, his arms dropping to his sides. The man set the compact down and picked up He set the compact down and picked up another from the spread in front of him. He opened it and began blending the edges. The scar was almost completely hidden at this point. And he's just as uncooperative as before. We're not going to get anything out of him like this. Roman scoffed and used his finger to brush some powder along the curve of his cheekbone. Wait, cheekbone? I don't know. Doesn't surprise me in the least. If it's one thing Dima seems to be exceedingly irritating at, it's finding loyal subordinates. Oh, can't relate, huh? Besides Ada. Hopefully Ada betrays you in the end. Ada stared at the floor. His thoughts drifted. How is his cut healing? It's not. Ada looked back up, the light from the vanity creating a glowing ring in his irises. It's healing, though it will surely scar. Pleased with that answer, Roman let a wicked smile spread from ear to ear. You're just mad that Mishka's gonna look hot with his scar and you're not. That's all. Good. Honestly, that's me being merciful after what that rat did to my face. Oh. Ada closed his eyes, grimacing at the memory. He definitely deserved it. You should have let me kill him back then. Roman couldn't help but laugh, the chuckle flashing his perfect teeth. That's right. I had you hold back then, didn't I? Ada nodded, moving an arm to hold the other just above the elbow in a loose grip. He almost took my eye, so you took Dima's. All on your own, too. Y'all are stressing me out. Ada took a deep breath, but otherwise stood still and quiet. Roman narrowed his eyes on Ada's reflection again. Ada was a quiet man by nature, but this was different. It's because Mishka talked some sense into your soldier. When the silence settled between them, Ada felt a hint of discomfort where there usually would be none. Hello? As I understand it, go on. Emerson is looking into the non-addictive drug. Roman sighed with an increased exaggeration, his hand snapping the concealer compact shut. Ada was instantly hushed. It's like you just said something about him being too quiet, and now you're silencing this man. I don't want to hear about that right now. After opening the vanity drawer, Roman began to set the items back inside. The drawer was organized and tidy, every item in its precise place. He eased it closed. Now that his face was taken care of, Roman turned in his seat, eyeing Ada.
Come here.
Don't. A chill danced down Ada's spine, the back of his neck tingling. Now, Ada lifted his gaze and met Roman's, his breath hitched in his throat as if he forgot how to breathe. He obliged and neared Roman, heart racing. Are they about to have a moment? Maybe? Roman reached out and grabbed Ada's wrist. While his grip was firm at first, Roman's fingers brushed at the soft skin of Ada's wrist and loosened. You're on edge. His voice was hushed. Oh no. Black strands of hair fell over Ada's features as he tilted his head, cautiously lowering himself into Roman's lap. When he was met with no objection, he leaned close. If it's obvious, then I apologize. Oh. It was something Mishka said, that's all. It will pass. Roman cupped Ada's jaw in his hand and turned his head, bringing his lips near Ada's ear. Don't listen to a word he says. You are perfect. He's perfect for you. He's not perfect for himself. Shut up. You're a horrible person, Roman. The world held so much weight. The world? The word had so... The word held so much weight that hearing it roll off Roman's lip like that, Ada felt a wave of hic spread down his throat. His exhale was shaky and uneven. Ada turned his nose to settle under Roman's jaw, his eyes closed. Roman smiled and let his hand drag along Ada's back, one finger at a time. You are perfect. I know I'm perfect, thank you. Are we about to see our friend again with the blue hair? Bright and early, an all too familiar purple car pulled into a spot in front of the flower shop. Isn't his name Siren or something? The parking lot was otherwise completely empty, not Roman being manipulative. Yeah, that is how he keeps his soldiers in check. I love you. You're perfect. The parking lot was completely empty, and a closed sign poised in the window was a clue as to why. Vadim gripped the wheel of the sports car and leaned his head back on the headrest behind him. He took a deep breath, flexing his fingers. Pav's been working all night. Maybe some flowers will help cheer him up. With a newfound determination, Vadim opened the door and stepped out of the car. After locking the door with a satisfying beep, he headed toward the closed shop. This was Strex's shop, after all. They would let him in. He pressed his hands to his temples and peered in through the window. After spotting Siren near the back, he gently knocked on the glass. Siren, a little startled, hurried on over and unlocked the door. I like how it got clear. The bell chimed as he shoved the door open and peered at Vadim. Oh, Vadim, I didn't expect to see you here so early. Is everything all right? No. Yeah, no, everything's fine. I just thought I'd stop by to get some flowers. For real this time. Siren paused and stared at the other man for a moment before grinning. He nodded his head and moved to let Vadim in. We're pretty close to open hours anyway. I might as well just leave this door unlocked. Better than me. I would have locked it down to the last second. If I don't have to be open, I'm not. Even if you tell me, you don't have to be open for another 3 minutes. That's 3 minutes apiece. before customers start coming in acting like they're entitled to everything in the world. The two headed further into the store. Siren made for the cash register and began counting his drawer, while Vadim started down an aisle of roses, surveying each bouquet. The many rows of flowers and ornate arrangements in the shop were no stranger to Vadim. Neither was the strong floral scent he found himself surrounded by. 'Cause your boyfriend is a living, breathing flower. He perused to the next aisle carefully, glancing at the bundles and baskets with indecision. One of my biggest fears is that I'm gonna try to unmute the mic and then I'll think it's unmuted and just be talking for forever and find out that the mic was never unmuted, so I'm just talking in silence and no one will ever know what I said. I'm so hungry. That is a lie. I'm actually not hungry. I don't know why I said that. I am hungry because I can always eat, but I'm not hungry. I just would like to eat something because I just like to eat, and I would like something with flavor. Should I get milk? I don't really have anything interesting to drink in here. I only have water. Water is good, but I've had a lot of water, and I have juice, but it's room temperature. So what would be hilarious? Oh, me not having sound on my stream. Yeah. I think I'm gonna run and get a cup of milk because I just feel like that would be really beneficial to me. I feel like, what they say, people who drink milk, straight milk, are the problem. You're not wrong. I'll be right back. I'm back. Yeah, I needed to make sure it was unmuted. I'm gonna put my milk over here. No, I'm not. There's too many cords. I put it here. What was I gonna say? Well, I was gonna say something. Oh, I bought milk recently on it wasn't yesterday. It was the day before yesterday, the day that I streamed, Tuesday. I bought milk on Tuesday, and I've already drank half the gallon by myself. All by myself. Oh my god, I didn't realize what mug this was. It's a Felix mug. It's a mug with Felix's face all over it. Well, I hope I don't get in trouble for using this mug, because it's not mine. I didn't notice when I picked it up. I was just looking for a cup. Well, when you know what you want, Vadim, I'll be at the front. I have to finish counting this drawer before we open. Vadim smiled at the cashier and went back to surveying his choices. That basket might be nice, but he'll know right away that those tulips are fake, even if they are just for show. Buying flowers for Pavel is like cooking for a chef. Stopping in front of a large arrangement, Vadim tilted his head and contemplated its variety of colors. Purple, blue, orange, and yellow flowers conglomerated together in a festive bunch. No, that one's too big. I don't think I could even fit it in the coupe. Coupe? Is that what that says? Coupe? I don't know. The bell on the front door chimed. The bell on the front door chimed loudly as another patron entered the store. Ooh, who is it? Good morning. Please let me know if you need anything. Will do, but it looks like what I'm after is over here. With a smile, Neo tipped their hat towards Siren and stopped short in front of the counter. The spurs attached to their thigh heel boots tinkled as they rotated. Neo motioned toward Vadim and gave the countertop a good pat before they turned to him. Okay, I'll be here just doodling. I mean working. Having finished counting out the register, Siren had busied himself doodling on a piece of yellow paper. He stuck his tongue out as he did. When Vadim heard the familiar voice of the informant, he turned and peered over the top of the aisle. Rounding the corner, he held his hand out with a wide smile. Neo returned the gesture and grasped Vadim's outstretched hand. They shook the man's hand vigorously. I didn't read that word right. And chuckled. It's been a while, my friend. I'm glad I was able to find you, though. Really, you're not too hard of a man to track down. It's good to see you, too. Vadim chuckled, squeezed Neo's hand, and set his other one on top of their grasp just before they both let go. How's their freelance life? Still getting by all right? No. Neo puffed out their chest and grinned, standing up a little straighter. You know it. And you? You like working for the man? Vadim shook his head and chuckled, grinning at Neo with a sparkle in his eye. He shrugged in the other's direction. I like having job security. That whole thing. Job security. Do you get insurance benefits? Do you get benefits? Do you get insurance? Do you get health insurance? What kind of health insurance you get? Do you not have health insurance? Well, people always have some kind of information they don't want others to know. That's my job security. Neo winked toward their friend. After a moment, they reached into their jacket and started fishing for something. Vadim watched curiously. Speaking of information, so you know that thing you wanted me to look into a while back? Ooh. Ooh. Vadim could only chuckle in response. That was a long while ago, Neo. I don't think... Neo pulled a manila envelope from their jacket, their eyebrows lifting as they held it triumphantly. Vadim's grin turned into more of a look of disbelief the longer he stared at the envelope. He glanced back at Neo, then to the envelope again. What's in this envelope? What did you find? What is this? Is this information on Pavel? Your boyfriend? Are you stalking your boyfriend? Well, you can't really stalk your boyfriend. Well, you can. I guess. Unhealthily. Very unhealthy. It truly is, my friend. I found something. What did you find? And why do I not get to know? A loud yawn could be heard as one very sleepy Pavel rubbed his eyes with the back of his hand. Groggily, he glanced down toward his lap where Tulip curled tight and snug against him. I love the cat. Don't worry, Tulip. Vadim will only be gone a little while longer. He said he'd bring some tea to wake us up. Cutie. No attitude, Missy. He'll be back soon. He gently petted the rotund cat's back and slid a few fingers under her ear for delicate, soft scritches. She leaned her head against his touch and purred happily. I love cats. I want a cat so bad. I have dogs. And I love them. They're way too hyper. Pavel smiled down. I have so many scratches from my dogs jumping up on me. I found another one in the shower. It's like all from down here. I'm just like, oh, how do you even do that? Through my shirts. Pavel smiled down at her affectionately through heavy lids. Oh, there he is. Tulip protested with a chirp and jumped down from Pavel's lap. She scurried away to find a new place to sit. Once the elevator door opened, Vadim hurried out with a basket of pink peonies all nestled together. In his other hand, he held a drink carrier with what smelled like coffee and tea lattes. Pavel blinked in surprise and slid off the stool he had been sitting on. He took the drink carrier and set it on the table nearby, careful not to spill. Vadim? Peonies? That's a little surprising, but they're beautiful. Speaking of surprises, I have one. A grin spread on Vadim's face as he set the basket down next to the drinks and turned toward Pavel. So do I. Ooh. What's in the envelope? Closing the distance between them, they kissed on the cheek. Hello. Okay, another surprise? Weren't the peonies enough? This one's better than peonies. Ooh, tell me yours first then. Pavel's arms wrapped around Vadim's forearm and squeezed in a pseudo-hug. Vadim dropped an envelope down on the table in front of them. What's this? The surprise. I think we have a lead. A lead on what? Dumbfounded, Pavel looked between the envelope and Vadim. Wait, a lead? Like a lead? Did someone spot her? The bodyguard pulled up a chair next to Pavel's stool, smiling with contagious excitement. The envelope's seal had already been broken. Open it! Laughing, Vadim pulled out an article snippet and a few blurry photos that may have been taken from a cheap cell phone. I don't really care about you guys' life that much. He tapped the article. A small group of cloaked suspects were seen leaving the governor's personal estate on the night his body was found. He lifted his brows and smirked at Pavel before continuing. Oh, so did y'all kill the governor? Anyway, so further investigation will be conducted alongside the allegations of the governor's involvement with human trafficking. Pavel tapped the article wide-eyed and damn near toppled over the stool he was sitting in as he stood.
Oh my god.
Vadim, this is in Greece. They spotted the group in Greece. I have family in Greece. Now you have family in Greece. We have family in Greece. What are we waiting for? I have so many things to pack and so many notes to write for someone to water the plants. And you finally get to meet my mom. What is this? What? Easy, okay? We don't know yet if it was her. We'll need to look into it. Besides, we can't go anywhere until you finish perfecting the NS.
Oh.
Well then pack your bags, mister, Pavel hurried to another lab table and spread his arms out. Arranged on top of the sleek metal was a mess of beakers, burners, and vials. I guess he made it. Have finished, surprise. So he finished his non-addictive drug. I'm so happy for him. Yay. Wait, you finished it and you didn't nap? I'll be completely honest, I don't care about what happens with the other characters when the character I'm playing is not there. Because it's not information that's I'm going to have to make a choice about, because information that my character clearly doesn't know about. So I really don't care about whatever this is. So, yes, the trial's important, efficient, whatever. I'm certain this is it, Vadim. Spinning on his heel, Pavel grinned from ear to ear. But that's not even the best part. What's the best part? You going to bed after this? Pavel's smile was as wide as it could be. Initially, we were looking into how this new formula works on neurotransmitters in the brain with the reward system and dopamine. And the goal was to figure out a way to turn the volume down, so to speak, on the trial drug's reward signals. Well, basically, we were able to isolate the non-addictive properties with a strain and amplify them. So, taking a deep breath, Pavel's grin turned into an uncontainable joy. He was almost vibrating.
It made way more sense to turn our efforts into a pharmaceutical.
It made way more sense to turn our efforts into a prescription drug that fights addiction.
Strexa has made a pharmaceutical drug to combat addiction. We aim to release it soon in recovery centers within the city.
Oh, that's probably really helpful to take medicine that's supposed to help you fight addiction. Oy. Why is Dima so... I can only take this for so long, man. I need some milk. Strexa aims to release it soon in recovery centers. I already said that. This way we can begin to take bigger steps toward helping the city of Sobina and its people. Dima's hands rested on either side of the wooden podium in front of him, the attached microphone amplifying his voice. For far too long, we've idly sat by while the people in our city have suffered. Uh-oh, someone's watching this, and whoever's watching this is not happy. This new anti-addiction drug will be the first step in a long road to healing for addicts across Sobina. Cameras flickered and shuddered at the end of every sentence, poised and ready at a moment's notice. Strexa will completely fund the clinical trials in the next stages of development for this breakthrough drug. Beyond that, we'll be partnering with the mayor to ensure the drug is both widely available and low cost.
Alright.
Pull myself together. Okay, but you're telling me that you're looking at him with his hair slicked back like that in a suit with his eye patch, and you're telling me that he's not attractive? I refuse to listen to the words of a mad woman. Don't talk to me unless you're agreeing with me, because I'm right. I'm right. I'll take any questions at this time. The crowd erupted, clamoring to get a word or question in. Roman's thumb pressed the volume button of the sleek plum pad held until it was muted. Okay. He stared at the illuminated screen as the press conference came to an end and the stream cut out. He looks like he's about to be angry.